Day 6, Coach Your Brain. And today I want to talk about Fawn. And at this point you're probably saying, what on earth does she mean? And I'd like to take it in the context of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And it's spelt, for all of those who are not native English, it is F-A-W-N. Now, the meaning of fawn is the baby deer. It's the name for the little baby deer. And I heard this fight, flight, fawn for the first time last week on the radio. And I was intrigued. So what does it mean when you are adopting the fawn strategy? And it actually means that you are doing everything you can to please everybody else. And I'm just reading a paper which is about the 4 Fs, the trauma typology in complex PTSD, in complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And actually, if I just read to you a little bit what it says about the fawn type, it says fawn types seek safety by merging with the wishes, needs, and demands of others. They act as if they unconsciously believe that the price of admission to any relationship is the forfeiture of all their own needs, rights, preferences, and boundaries. The therapist who coined the term fawn is called Pete Walker. And he really did create it as the 4th response. And typical behaviors of the fawn are, number 1, always apologizing for everything. Number 2, you can't say how you really think or feel. Number 3, you always end the chat thread with emojis and you have to be the one ending the conversation. Number 4, everybody else's needs matter more. And number 5, flattery. Flattering other people in an exaggerated fashion. Now, any one of these could be demonstrating that sort of response to some sort of trauma that subconsciously we've got as our adopted behavior. Now, we have looked right from the beginning of this Coach Your Brain, we've looked at judgment. We've looked at going beyond the judgments and setting those goals. What is it that we want to do? We've looked at sound and how sound has an impact on us energetically. And we've also looked at the ego and how to not refer to ourselves constantly, but to bring in a different dimension to the way we speak. Today, it's about bringing in the awareness of these behaviors. Are we subconsciously adopting the fawn response? As an additional challenge to the selflessness, losing the I, the me and the my, today I'd like you to think about this fawn response and see if you have some of those behaviors. Like I reflect and I know that sometimes I do, and I have in the past. I know I've seen them heavily. What can you do to counteract that? So what can you do to gently bring out your limitations, your boundaries, what you want, what you don't, expressing your feelings in a certain way? I confess, sometimes when I want to express my feelings, I come out very quickly with no. And I'm learning how to counteract that as well, because obviously it's going to the extreme of I want to say how I'm feeling about this. So I'm trying to adapt things like, may I share with you how I'm feeling? Or may I share with you the impact that has just had on me? And sometimes, you know, when we are in a coaching conversation, we also can ask that permission, you know, may I share with you what's coming up for me? Another thing that we can do is try to find different ways of apologizing, not always saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, but looking for different ways, you know, oh, excuse me, or, oh, I hadn't realized, or, oh, may we move into something else because I'm not sure that I've really understood what you said. And just finding imaginative ways of communicating that are not always reflecting the fact that I'm sorry. So the additional mission today is to observe your behaviors. How much are you able to express your limits, your desires, your wishes? And how can you do that with permission? May I share with you how I'm feeling? May I tell you what's happening to me and what impact this is having on me? And on the other side, observe, are you always saying I'm sorry? Are you always apologizing? And what could you say instead? Once you've done that, I'd like you to see how you can get those expressions into the different languages. Puedo compartir cómo yo me siento. Je voudrais partager un petit peu comment je me sens. And see how you can get it into brain-friendly language and really share with others what's happening to you. And maybe if we help each other to communicate and express the way that we're feeling, express when we have to say no and express our no's in a nice way, I guess it's going to make such a difference all over the world.